Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, July 28th edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. As usual, we do operate under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow attendees and speakers and generally be excellent to each other. To start things off this morning, we usually like to offer an opportunity for anyone who's new to the call to unmute or type in chat and say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself. Totally optional. You don't have to. I think there might be one new person on, so you are welcome to do so now if you would like to. You can also do it at any time. I'll give a minute in case anyone wants to introduce themselves while folks fill out the notes. Cool. I think we're good to go then. Like I said, if you do want to say something, chat's open anytime. Also welcome to unmute. We're a pretty casual call. Let's get started then. I'm already sharing my screen because I was on top of things this morning. Yeah, notes look good. Cool. Cool. We've got some more notes being added in there. So starting with updates and big wins. I wanted to mention that the keynote video is due, I think it's on the 10th. So this is something we've been talking about for a few weeks. Basically every SIG needs to produce a 1-minute video that they're going to show at the keynotes at KubeCon. Chris has been working on putting together the content for that. I don't know if I ever updated this group, but the leads of SIG ContribEx said that they would like for one of the new leads to do it since we just got new leads in. Good chance to tell everyone like, hey, there are new leads in the SIG. So it'll probably be one of the new co-chairs or tech leads. We're not sure who will do it yet. But Chris has been working on getting that content together. He's not going to be on today, so I'll sync with him offline on that. If you have any questions about that, you are welcome to ask them. Other item that I wanted to put into updates and big wins is buffer is fixed. I don't know if anybody knew that buffer was broken, but I think we went over it. Yeah. So we added Mastodon to our buffer account, which meant that it increased the amount we had to pay each month. So we had to file a request with the CNCF to make sure that asking for a little bit more money would be okay. And they said that was fine, but they didn't actually update the payment on file. And so the account lapsed. And I had to work with the CNCF to get the billing fixed. And I just went in this morning and actually reactivated the paid part of the account. So everyone, if you log into your own buffer account, you should have access to the Kubernetes ContribEx team again, if you have that to begin with. And we'll talk more about that in a minute because I've got some social stuff to talk about in new items. But there's one more update here. Nitish said that he wouldn't be able to join in, but he said that he'd put these notes in here for us. So I'll just go over those. Updates related to SIG Spotlight series that Nitish is working on. He's still working on the SIG release SIG Spotlight. So he still hasn't gotten answers on the questions. Pretty common, as we've seen. Tech lead for release engineering wanted to ask about it, so that's a good sign, I think. So maybe that'll help him get some answers. Cool. So that's at a pretty common stage of waiting for answers. We'll check in on the rest of the SIG spotlights when we do the board, unless there's anything in particular anyone wants to call out. Cool. Sounds good. So let's talk about new items. Unless anyone has any other updates, big ones you want to talk about, feel free at any time. So the biggest new item that I wanted to mention is that the steering committee election is coming up. So we do this once a year. There's details about exactly how it all works and everything in the repo. I don't remember how many steering committee seats will be up for election this time. I'll have to check on that. But at least a few will be up for election. So starting on August 8th, we'll be announcing the election, and we'll be starting to collect candidacies. I guess is a good way to say that. Folks who want to run for steering committee will start telling us about that. So we will need quite a few comms there. I am one of the election officers, which means that I will be deeply involved in this whole process, and I volunteered to be the comms liaison, which I find very amusing for the election. So I'll be asking for some help, especially because the candidate nominations are due and the voting begins during a week that I am out for an event. So I'll need some help there. And Arpit, I've already asked you for your help, and you said that would be okay?
Yep.
Cool.
It's okay, but I need to get a little bit of idea of what to do.
Yes,
Which
I'll work
region-
with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to give a general sense of what we'll need to do for that, this is my second time as an election officer. I wouldn't say that I did a great job the first time, but we will improve with the second. So we'll need to do social media posts saying that the election is happening, that you can find more information on GitHub, but we'll need to be careful with social media stuff to make sure that we're only saying things that are publicly accessible. Only folks who are eligible will be able to vote. So there's an automatic system that figures out if you're eligible to vote based on the contributions that we're able to see in dev stats. It's just this automated process that's like, you've had this many comments on PRs and PRs made and all sorts of stuff like that. And so you're eligible to vote because you are doing things in the community. It counts a lot of things. I don't know how it works, but I'm always shocked at the number of things it says for me when I don't do that much on GitHub. But there are still those who do stuff for the community whose work isn't tracked very well by that system. So there will also be an opportunity for folks to request an exception to be able to vote. So we'll need to do some communications about that. A lot of the communications for this will go out over email to the dev list, dev@kubernetes.io, I guess it is now. And I have some examples of past emails somewhere that I'll need to find that we'll be able to look over. So that's a rough outline of what the comms will look like. Sounds good? We'll discuss more details later. I'll make sure to get you those examples. And the steering committee election will go through October 5th. I'm actually going to be out for 3 weeks right before KubeCon because that's a good idea. So this is wrapping up before I'm out, which is actually kind of nice because it's often really close to KubeCon and then all of the things are happening. And so hopefully this timeline will work out. This hasn't been officially accepted yet, but I wanted to give you all a heads up around what will be happening with the steering committee election because I might be asking for help. Hopefully Arpit will be able to help with everything, but just in case we need additional help, I wanted everybody to know about it. Cool. Also, many of you should be eligible for the steering committee election, so it's good for you to know that that's happening. Eligible to vote. I mean, you're welcome to run as well, but I personally don't want to do that. So next thing, Avinash, you are so good at keeping track of what's going on GitHub. Would you like to tell us about it? Well, I guess Frederico is the first one, but should we start there then? Cool.
Sure. Me or Avinash? Sorry.
Frederico. Avinash nodded, so I think he's on board for that.
Yeah, I've updated I think this is
This one.
yeah.
Improve shadow
This is
requirements
on
for blogging.
this is also on the board. So
Yes.
it's
okay to
this
go
is a
over it here, though.
follow-up. Yeah, this works the same, of course. Just a note that I've deleted the draft that we had there on the board and replaced it with this open PR because it's the same topic. Yeah.
Nice.
So essentially, this is a follow-up from last week's meeting in which we discussed the topic of requirements for shadows in blogging. I was correct in that there was already content there, but that being said, what I did was to make it. I expanded on it a bit and made it more obvious what are the typical tasks that a shadow would be asked to perform in order to be a lead in the future. So obviously this is up for review. I can change things. This was just what this is based on what was already there and previous discussions, but as with any change, I welcome feedback in those, and eventually would just commit that and that should do it.
Perfect. That's exactly what we needed. That'll be lovely. I'll have to look over that a little bit later.
The top part is just formatting of indentation. So that's
cool. Sounds good. Judging by the rate that this meeting is going, I might actually have time to review that later. I won't try to fit it in now, though. Sounds good. Still need to do that for other roles as well for myself. I put that on my to-do list for later, which is a mile long. So we'll see if that works out. So shall we talk about the other item that needs review in GitHub, Avinash?
Yeah, so based on our previous discussion, as we decided to deprecate the new role, which was the events lead. So this PR does that. Also, there was some links that were not pointing out to the current documentation of not documentation, the meeting notes.
Channel.
Yeah, in the SIG ContribEx. So I changed that as well. And
Nice.
I got to learn about this new thing that you don't change the SIG README directly. You have to do it via the sig.yaml file. That's great.
Yeah. That is a thing. Oh, yeah. Wow. Way to be thorough. Or like finding where this stuff is mentioned. I totally forgot about that part. Thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah. Also, I had something to ask. So there was, I think I had to create another PR for doing some changes in the owners file as well, which potentially would be to remove, I guess, Imran and Atharva because they're not much active. So, but also I had this confusion if we have to add Sujay into it.
Yep, we should.
And this goes for both the Twitter repo and the main repo,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's right.
I'll do that.
Good call out. Thank you. Let me put that in the updates for us. I'm very excited about this. Our first real change of hands in these roles since we've redefined them. That's good stuff. Cool. Any questions about any of this? the roles or the steering election, social media stuff, or anything? Sounds like folks are good to go to the board. Moving right along today. I'm in for it. All right. Improved shadow requirements for blogging lead is ready for review. Thank you very much, Frederica. And in progress items. SIG architecture spotlight. Are there any updates there?
Minor ones, nothing to write home about really. Some more feedback on I'll be finishing it up next week and stuff like that. Some people are still out, others are returning. I've made a list of I don't think I've published, but I have a list of the ones that are already done in, because this is there are several sub steps, right? So I will update with that list with the current situation, which is slightly better. We have 3 done, 1 proceeding, and 1 that we still don't have any feedback. So that's it for my side on that.
Sounds good. Things are moving along. Alrighty then. Notify the comms team when a new issue is created. We had a little conversation about that last time. This is like an old task that we were trying to figure out. Looks like you edited it, Avinash. I don't remember exactly what we decided we were going to do that put this into active work. Anyone else remember?
I think Sujay was looking into it. He started
That
looking into
would
it.
make sense.
Yeah, and we just got a notification from Sujay in the Slack that he was a bit busy this week, so he'll be looking into it later on.
Cool. That's lovely. Thank you very much, Avinash. Okay. So then we'll move on to the next one. Zapier automation is also a Chris and Sujay thing, so I don't imagine we have any updates here today. Sounds good. Spotlight on SIG node. Any updates on that?
I asked native to provide me the answer he got, but he still didn't respond it. So I actually pinged him one more time. So let's see when he replies.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and update that. Sounds good. I think he's on release team, so plus sounds like his school is ending and for the summer and he's got other stuff going on, so understandable. Hopefully he'll get back to you with that. So we'll move on to the next one, the SIG ContribEx one. FICA isn't on, but I did a bunch of work on answering those questions, not this week, but the week before. I got them in a pretty good state, I think. I talked with FICA about it, and she said that she was waiting for answers from the other co-chairs and tech leads, because we were hoping to represent at least a couple of perspectives from the leadership of the SIG. So I think that's moving along okay. I need to check back in with her to see if she's gotten any new responses. Cool. And then for SIG release, we already went over those updates. Natish is still waiting for a response and hoping that other folks will help him get that within SIG release. And we have all of these things that still need to update our shadow requirements for review. We are trying to update our language to make it a little bit clearer what a shadow is. And a shadow is someone who is aiming to take over a lead position. So someone who probably has been involved with the community for a little bit and understands a little bit about that role, knows that they want to do that, and so is working with the lead in order to take over. So we're updating the requirements to just make that really clear everywhere within our repo, theoretically. At least some of us are. Little self jab. I need to do that.
That one is ongoing as well. The contributor summit one, I've sent it's the same as last week. I've shared the document with Noah,
Perfect.
the first batch of questions, and I'm waiting on that initial feedback. Actually, I will update that with the questions, not with the link, because the way that I work is that I just create a link with everybody with a link is an editor. It simplifies things, so I'm not going to put it there, but I'll update that the document is on Noah's side, and then I'm waiting on input.
Perfect. I'll let you do that then. Also, I don't think we have it on here anymore. The book club spotlight ended up falling through, right? Because I just saw
Sorry?
that the book club spotlight, weren't you looking into that?
Yeah, I was, and then I wasn't, but maybe I need to go on it again, because it was supposed to end, but it didn't. And
Yeah,
I will.
it seems to still be going.
Yeah, it's either it's
Thing about that.
a zombie, or it's it was never killed. I remember more seriously. I remember Carlos telling me that maybe there would be an update on that. So maybe the rumors of the book club's death have been widely exaggerated. So
Perhaps.
I'll ping Carlos and see if it still makes sense, and if so, I'll rescue this from the one fix queue.
Sounds good. I just put it in the to-do just to
Okay,
check in on
perfect.
that again next week.
Excellent.
Yeah, because I noticed that in the CNCF Slack, they made a new channel for it, which I find slightly silly because they posted that in the book club channel, which was not being used by anyone. So they could have totally just used that one, but but whatever works.
Yep.
What I learned. I actually created the book club channel in the CNCF Slack. I don't do that. What I learned is that running a book club is hard.
and Oprah makes it look so easy.
Yeah, but you gotta like keep doing work on it like all the time. It's like a whole thing.
True.
And you have to read.
And yeah, boring.
Exactly. You get me. Cool. So we'll have to check in on what's going on there. Be a very interesting spotlight if they're doing things.
Certainly I'll do that today, because I let that pass, and I did notice the same as you that it was still ongoing, and I even got some updates. So I think that if that's the case, it even makes more sense to go in with the spotlight, right?
Seems like they're doing stuff right now.
And a change it's a catalyst, right? So
yeah, exactly.
why not add to the momentum? So
yeah, it could help them get more folks in.
Excellent. I'm on it for next week, certainly.
Perfect. And we also had create a new folder called automation. Oh yes. Chris Short wanted to do some stuff there. That's a Chris and Sujay kind of thing. Since neither of them are on, I'll leave that be. And removing the event lead. That's ready for review. We should probably attach the actual issue there. We'll just put it in as a comment. Or I guess I could add item. And how do I do that? Community and then 7410. Haha, I found it. Cool. So I will remove this item from the table. And we've got that issue. Alrighty. And other to-do list items. We have SIG spotlights open. If anyone is looking for work to do and you want to write a blog post and interview folks who maintain parts of the project, that is available. Just let us know that you're interested in it. Guidelines for sensitive and user impacting comms, maybe someday. Case study based on CDN article. I doubt that's ever going to happen. Promote new contributor workshop content. That should be coming before KubeCon. So there will be updates on that sometime soon. And then I just added the Kubernetes book club thing. And that's it for the board. This is half the time it usually takes. Shows you how much me and Chris usually banter. Cool. So any other things that folks want to discuss? Sandipan.
Hey everyone, I am interested in doing a SIG spotlight on SIG Gates infra. So can you let me know if there's anyone already working on it? I am currently going through the blogging resources and it will be very helpful to know how I can push this forward.
Sounds great. Frederico, do you want to take that? I don't think we have one on Kate's infra, so I think that one's fair game.
No, I think
You know?
it's great. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
I'll create it for the table. Any guidelines
Yeah.
you want to go over, Federico?
no, I actually I'll with that on the table, what I can do is actually if and following a conversation that we had some couple of weeks ago, I like to create an issue as well, an explicit one, just
That'd be great.
and then we will close it with the merge. I'm more interested in knowing what can we do to help. That's the thing. Yeah. So Sandipan, I mean, you know the drill, as it were. So, but I mean, we have the blogging resources there. It was recently updated, as you are aware, in terms of guidance as well. So, but well, you know how to do it. So, whatever you need, just ping us in myself directly or in the channel. Yeah.
And to review the basic process for anyone who might be interested in it, you basically interview the SIG leads usually. You can ask them if they're the best folks to interview, and you put all of that into a doc, preferably. There are other ways to do it, but we recommend a doc. And then you turn that into a blog. Cool. So Sandipan, if you need any help at all, let us know either in the channel or you could ping Federico directly since he's the blogging lead. But a number of us have done this before, so we're happy to help you if you need anything. Do you feel okay to get started with that? Or are there any other questions you want to ask right now? Or you can ask on Slack, of course.
Yeah, so Arpit just now shared a link to an article in the chat that seems like a SIG spotlight. Can you please take a look on that?
Oh, thank you. Well, this is from 2020, though. It's been 3 years. Yeah, this is one of the ones that Ren did. Wow. That was a thing once. So I think that's sufficiently outdated that it would be good to do another one. Thank you very much, Arpit, for finding that. Well done. I was wondering where this one was. I think Ren did a couple, actually.
Or do you think it will be better if we do a SIG spotlight on one that is not already done yet?
I think the best one to do would be the one you're most interested in. So if you're interested in a different one, that'd be cool. If you're most interested in this one, I think that's fair game. That's helpful, right? The answer is
Yes.
whatever you would like. Which puts the decision on you. Cool. So
Other than SIG contributor experience, I am interested in SIG gates infra and SIG testing. So if there isn't already a SIG spotlight on SIG testing, we can do that.
nice. Thanks, Arpit, for finding that. I wonder if there's one on testing. I don't remember one off the top of my head. I also was most interested in SIG testing when I first started contributing. It ended up being very different from what I expected. So I think that would be a very interesting spotlight if we haven't done it yet. I'm not sure if we have or not. If folks want to try to check, you're welcome to. I think if we did, then it's going to probably be like the Infra one, and it's old enough that it would probably make sense to do it again. I'm up for either of those. Maybe do a little search and see if you can find an old one on testing, but whichever one is most interesting. Cool. And let us know if you need any help. Do you have org membership, Sandapan? Sandapan? What's the
Yes.
correct pronunciation?
Yes, it's correct.
Cool. Or Sandapan or Sandapan?
It's in Hindi, we pronounce it like Sandipan.
Sandipan. Cool. Thank you. Sounds more like the sound to me. I will try to get that right. So Sandipan Panda?
Yes.
Perfect. I will assign that to you then. And this is just an item on our board, but Frederico, you were gonna create an actual issue for it, it sounded like. So you all can work together on that on Slack.
Yeah. But you can write there the updates. It's very useful because I will just copy them. So because otherwise I'll forget as well.
Cool.
And I'll follow up with Sandipan in the channel and in chats. What should be next?
Perfect. Do that. That is on the to-do list. And we'll move it to in progress once you decide which one you want to do. All right. With that, we've already had a number of folks drop off. Anything else folks want to talk about on the recording? Otherwise, I can stop the recording and I have time to hang out. If folks want any help.
I'm good.
Cool. I wonder if I should review those. I'll just review those off the recording. YouTube doesn't need to watch me review PRs. That sounds terribly boring. Go do something better with your time, YouTube folks. But thank you for joining us today. I will stop our recording. Bye, YouTube.